So how I got the idea to make this video? Some of Selfmade's tweets reached my timeline, and I was curious what happened this game. So the enemy team picked Blitzcrank, and he had Schubert, the Sunao TP. So I wanted to see if he sabotaged his bot lane by starting um, on bot in Enchanter versus Hook support matchup, because that's the biggest mistake you can ever make as a jungler. In general, ganking top lane is the biggest mistake you can make as a jungler, but it's really hard to explain why that's the case, so let's just focus on one particular small thing. So I tried to search Mr. Schubert's account on West, but it would seem this game was dodged. I don't know if Selfmade dodged it himself, but I went on LoL Pros, found his current OPGG. I tried searching for games with Mr. Schubert, but instead I found this. So it's quite funny how wrong Selfmade is about a lot of things when it comes to this game. And we're just going to talk about something very basic. He's playing Diana. So his build on Diana is the standard Conqueror with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. When it comes to Last Stand, that's good for him because he is obviously a frontliner who will try and stay more in a fight. So that's a good rune. When it comes to Tenacity, well, this is also okay for this game, but I'm saying okay, not the best. What do I mean by this? He is going to play against Reckless on Jhin. He's going to play against a Senna. He's going to play against an auto attacker. He's going to play against a Camille. Now, how often does it happen for all these champions to CC him? How often does it happen for all these CCs to land on him? Probably not that much, to be honest. He is mostly going to face either Warwick plus Vex, and in that 2v2, the CC doesn't really matter because if he gets to land his shield, he'll still be able to fight. He will not get one-shotted, so Tenacity is a bait stat, but it's still okay. It's not the worst thing you could go here. I would go for Alacrity and Tabai here, but let's talk about it further. The thing that's actually really terrible about his rune setup is the fact that he went Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. And this is a big mistake. Challenger players, competitive players, who the fuck even cares about who's playing it? I mean, in what region, in what competition? It's still a mistake. It's a straight up mathematical mistake. Man, when I see this, I just cringe. So, I don't take offense to his tweets when it comes to range supports. Even though my OPGG, for full disclosure, one of my OPGG looks like this. So I'm a poor Karma main, but I'm an East player. And even if I am to go on West, I'm not going to ruin his game by playing on my account that looks like a mine in Africa, you know? As in, it's filled with diamonds. It has nothing to do with him. But still, the reason I started playing a lot of supports, it's precisely because of dumb opinions like this. He thinks Alistar is a strong champion. And of course, maybe Alistar is a strong champion against Nautilus, Leona, Thresh, and whatever shit meta is in competitive play. But if Alistar is picked against a Janna, you just lost the game. You simply lose the game. If Janna has a single functioning brain cell, you lose the game. So let's get back to Selfmade and why is he wrong about he just one particular thing, just these small runes. Where the fuck isn't his OPGG? So people don't understand how runes work. Again, tenacity is a base stat. Early game, he needs alacrity to somewhat fight Warwick. That CC from Warwick is not going to affect him. So a lot of people don't understand how tenacity works. If you are going to get stunned, most of the times the stun in early game is so short that by the time it expires, you won't have enough attack speed to constantly attack the champion himself. Right? So what do I mean by this? You auto attack him, you get stunned, but you don't have as much attack speed. So because of that, you would be stunned anyway while you're trying to cast your auto attack. Does that make sense? In later parts of the game, you will get hard focused by the entire team. And again, we go back to what we said. It's not too bad to have tenacity for that case, but you will sabotage your entire early game. And if you don't think early game matters, well, why is Mr. Alistar fanboy here advocating for this champion? Isn't Alistar one of the best champions in early game? Why does he hate enchanters so much? Enchanters suck early game. If early game doesn't matter, why would he care so much about it? So let's talk about gold efficiency when it comes to this. Let's get back to his runes. He has magical footwear on Diana and cosmic insight. These runes don't exist in early game. Tenacity doesn't exist in early game. He has 3 missing runes for a game where he's supposed to have a somewhat combat oriented fight, because he should usually outlevel a Warwick, because Warwick will be most likely level 3, and the moment he fights he should be level 4, so he needs to look for a fight and he needs to have stronger runes for fighting. If he has cosmic insight, if he has magical footwear will not be available to him in the fight. If he has tenacity, again, he will have 1 less rune available for him in a fight. I will show you exactly how this translates into a game. Cosmic Insight is probably the most bait rune possible out of the entire Inspiration tree after Futures Market and after First Strike. This entire tree is a bait rune tree. What do I mean by this? If you're in a team, if you're in a fight, this rune doesn't exist, because you either have flash or you don't have flash. It doesn't matter. Most of the times you will fight for objectives, for dragon and for heralds, and you will have your summoner spells regardless. So it doesn't matter. It's a missing rune. If your flash is up, this rune doesn't exist, right? It just doesn't. And if you're snowballing, well, wouldn't you rather prefer to snowball constantly with stronger combat runes than to have this? This is just a non-existent combat summoner spells. So he's going to play against an early game champion like Warwick with 3 missing runes. What the fuck? And you may say, well, what could he potentially take on Diana for early game? What could he do better? So I don't know if you guys know this, but there are some runes in this game really strong. This patch really strong they have been strong for a while now. So let me show you in game. Let me show you the reality of the situation. I'm in a fucking shit game because I know this player. I know this player always loses my game by flipping it early game, right? He's going to lose it every single time, and I get tilted because he doesn't leash. So because he doesn't leash, I have to do this shit, and hopefully I don't lose the game alone with him. So look at this guy. Look at this. I know he will do this every time. I played with this guy a lot. So he messed up my jungle by not leashing. He messed up jungle by setting up his wave in a position where it will be shitty for him because Akali will out level him because he has Ghost Flash and Akali has TP for top lane. And TP for top lane it's not the same for mid, right? Because it's a longer lane and you need to be weak-sided. So again, I am fucked. I have nothing to do, and I know Trundle is a dog player. A Trundle which is a similar champion to Warwick in terms of, I wouldn't say clear speed. I think obviously Trundle has a higher clear speed, but it's still the sort of champion that wants to skirmish you early game. He has a really good 1v1. He is not a full clear champion. He will not get a level 4 in 3 minutes and 15 seconds, the usual if you're a good player and do your full clear properly. So he's a similar type of champion to Warwick. And what do I do? Do I just try and save him? And the reason is I shouldn't do it, but I try to do it anyway. My mind is controlled by tilt. You guys shouldn't do this. Trust me. I will maybe sometimes explain it. It's really hard to show it, and I honestly don't know if I have the capabilities to do it. But the biggest mistake, I'm telling you, the biggest mistake you can do you can make as a jungler is gank top. So what will happen here? I am forced to path towards top lane because I started Raptors, because I don't get leash, and you may say I could have started on red and do these free camps and ignore the animal, but I know exactly he will lose the game if I don't do this. I've seen it a lot, and unfortunately this thing will happen. Let's look at the play. We'll accelerate a bit. I get level 3 and I try to gank top in a situation where he couldn't get level 2. I underestimated the experience he has. I couldn't check, so I committed to it anyway. Let's just slow it down a bit. So I see Trundle, I run. And I want you to look at some things. Look at my HP. I am 100 HP. Consider if I am in a similar situation. I could have had inspiration, and I could have had some ability item haste and some magical footwear. 2 non-combat runes. Instead, I played with Alacrity, I played with Revitalize, I played with Conditioning. Alacrity accelerated my clear time, and Revitalize gave me a total of 93 bonus healing and a total of bonus shielding by 48%. And as you saw on my clear, I would my shield would constantly break, so it's not like I didn't get value from it. So from this fight, from this rune alone, combined with Alacrity, I managed to survive. My HP is 100 now. I gained, just from Revitalize alone, 150 HP. If you don't play, this is the core idea of this video. If you don't play with Revitalize on Diana, you're missing out on the best rune on this God-forsaken champion. This champion is terrible. It's terrible for competitive play. It's actually really bad for competitive play, but we're not going to talk about it. For solo queue, it's a noob stomping champion, but if you're not going to play it without this rune, you're just clueless. I don't know how else to tell you. I just showed you one particular situation where this rune saved my life. I would have died here. Give Akali the kill, of course. And then what happens? Trundle just stomps Darius anyway. So it becomes a 2-4-0. Now, I'm going to miss a lot of CS here because I'm big noob. I don't know how to farm. That's why I play handless roles like jungle and support. But at least I can understand my worthless dog rolls. Now, we'll move forward into the game. I'm going to show you something that an inspiration Diana will never ever to accomplish. Let's look at this. I need it's around this time. I should be around level 11. Yes, this is the moment. We're back. Okay. Did you see it? Let me show it again in slower motion. So because I am big noob and I don't have a map, I just die like a dog here. I get caught. But since I actually know how to build, look at Revitalize value, man. Look at this shit. You're going to tell me it's better to have 300 gold in boots and a non-existing rune for summoner spells when you could have 14 armor and 12 magic resist. So your armor and magic resist scale with your shield. 14 armor is 280 gold, 12 MR is 216 gold. Both conditioning and the boots activate around same time. Obviously, you'll have boots sooner if you're the better player, but usually if you're the better player, you need to fight early game and get some kills. You're not going to get kills if you don't have combat runes. So what happens here? Look at Revitalize as a rune before the fight starts. And I will tell you, I actually misplayed. How did I misplay? Look at my refillables. 2 stacks. I don't press refillable because I am handless East dog and I cannot play the game. But instead, I just roll on the keyboard and stack check them. So you're going to tell me it's better to have inspiration on Diana over conditioning and Revitalize. What else is there to be said? Also, the stats earlier were from Locket too. But were they from Locket? No, they're one from Locket. Why the fuck did I have 14 magic resist? I'm big noob. I don't know. Overall, at the end of the game, in a game where we were so behind, my Kiana was 153. My Darius, you saw what Darius did. He lost the game. Did they int on me? Yeah, they int on me here. It really doesn't matter, we just win. I just want to show you the final values of Revitalize during a 25-minute game. I received from Revitalize 1000 healing and 1000 shielding. Almost there. Are you going to tell me this is better? This is not better than inspiration on Diana. This is the best rune setup on Diana. This is what you should do. So, Mr. Selfmade, with his tweets and his opinions about supports, about anything regarding this game, can respectfully fuck off. Needs to learn to play. He cannot even play his champions. And she should shut the fuck up about enchanters. He's clueless. He's literally clueless. Hope we improve a bit and at least don't end up messing in champ select. And I will comment a bit something about my build earlier. I went Nashor stuff. This is a build that stomps noobs. You shouldn't really do it. In competitive games, you have Rocket Belt and Zonias as better options because the games will be actually a bit closer. Nonetheless, it still helped revitalize a bit because the attack speed scales with Conqueror, um, it scales with the usual healing, of course, so obviously it's better. But what will end up happening in a really long out drag game, because of this Nashor stuff, I won't have the 3 item power spike or the 4 item power spike depending on how you look at it. I won't have Rocket Belt with Zonia's Hourglass with Voice Staff, or Rocket Belt with Zonia's Hourglass, Rabadon and Voice Staff, depending on the MR they have, of course. This is just a noob build that stomps players at 2 items and doesn't really consider the third items. But usually solo queue games end up in maximum 25 minutes. You don't get to have the fourth item. So this is just a situational build. What's really relevant is this rune. Don't play without Revitalize on Diana. The best rune possible. Bye.